Over 300 charge cycles, a dent from a drop, thousands of photos. This is what I actually think of the iPhone 17 Pro Max a year later. Let's talk about the design. The camera plateau has finally grown on me. When Apple first showed it, I wasn't really sure. Now, I actually kinda like it. It feels like the next natural step from the camera bump, not a departure from it. That said, if I put the iPhone 16 Pro Max next to it, the 16 actually looks like it could be the newer model from the outside. Apple usually makes things smaller over time. Face ID went from the massive notch to the smaller dynamic island. The camera plateau goes the other way. But what it does on the inside justifies the size, so I made my peace with it. The cosmic orange color is my favorite color. It's the first time a Pro iPhone got a striking color, and the effect was real. After Apple did it, I started noticing orange cases everywhere, on older iPhones and even Android phones. I can't prove that statistically, but it happened. And even some Android phones started copying this exact orange shade. There were reports after the launch of the 17 Pros that the orange was turning pink. Mine hasn't, it's still orange. I think like most iPhone controversies, that one got blown out of proportion. The blue and the silver color are great too, but it's a shame that we didn't get a fully black color this time. We have to talk about aluminium. I'm not going to pretend I love it. I still prefer how titanium felt on the 15 and 16 Pro Max. I used both of those phones without a case and they still look brand new. This 17 Pro Max has been in a Nomad magnetic leatherback case the whole time. I dropped it a few times and once I dropped it into some pebbles. And the case and the phone took a beating. It's right next to the cameras over here. My titanium phones got dropped too and I had zero dents. Aluminium is softer and if you're going caseless, that's really worth knowing before you buy. And you probably would have seen so many iPhone 17 Pros damaged online. So if you're buying one of these, put it on a case. Or if you're like me and don't care that much, then you know the risks. That said, the Switch isn't a bad decision. It's function over form. And once you see what it does for the thermals, it all makes sense. If you're into long-term reviews like this, please do consider subscribing. This is what this channel is about. The A19 Pro on this phone is an absolute beast. I said this during my 1-month review and I'll say it again now. If you buy this phone today, it will feel fast 5 years from now. That hasn't changed a single bit. These chips are really future-proof. My battery health is at 94% after 300 charge cycles. I charge to 80% as a rule and only go up to 100% when I genuinely need it. Even at 80%, this phone gets throughout a day without me thinking about it. I turn the battery percentage indicator off for months because I know I just don't need it. That's the best compliment I can give a phone battery. Thermals are where aluminium earns its place. The 16 Pro Max before would usually get much hotter if I was using the camera for too long. Sometimes the display brightness will go down and the phone will start throttling. But the 17 Pro Max never gets that hot. And when it does, the heat spreads evenly across the back rather than concentrating behind the chip. The vapor chamber is doing what it's meant to do. The real-world benefit is a screen that stays brighter for longer and battery wear that slows down over time. That second point matters more the longer you keep your phone. Let's talk about the cameras. The cameras are the reason I upgrade every year. And this is one of those upgrades where the difference is immediate. The move from a 5x telephoto to the new 4x system makes the framing more natural for how I shoot. This is easily the best telephoto lens Apple has put on an iPhone and the lens is as good as the main camera. And the 8x digital crop from that lens is very usable. I keep doing this thing where I frame on the 0.5x and then zoom in all the way to 8x just to see the range. The detail across all three lenses gives you a lot to work with in post. I was in a photo walk in London, standing at a distance, and framed Big Ben through some leaves at 8x zoom. The image I took was clean enough to edit and post on Instagram straight from the phone. That's the camera system doing exactly what it should do. If you want to see more iPhone photography settings and tips, I'll link that video on the top right and in the description below. Photographic styles are great too, and I say this as someone who shoots RAW most of the time. For the moments I don't want to pull up Lightroom and start editing pictures, the styles hold up. Video is excellent. Genlog, ProRes, Open Gate recording, there's a lot. The dynamic range is really impressive for a phone. Even though I didn't use many of these pro video features, I'm glad the phone in my pocket is capable of doing all these. Let's talk about the operating system. iOS 26 launched as a visual overhaul and it needed time to mature. The early release had rough edges. Those have smoothed out significantly with the updates that followed. Liquid Glass still needs more polish in places. Some menus still feel like they are competing visually rather than working together. If I give the hardware of this phone a 9 out of 10, the software at launch was a 7. Not because iOS 26 is bad, but because Apple has set a standard and we hold them to it. The good news is that iOS 27 rectifies a lot of that. Liquid Glass feels refined now. The OS feels polished in a way iOS 26 never did. And Siri, finally, Siri is actually useful. I can go out and find information on the internet and come back with a real answer. No more, I found this on the web nonsense. Siri now does the thing you asked. I did a full comparison of Siri on iOS 26 and iOS 27, and I'll link that video above and in the description. This phone launched with a software that wasn't really ready. It leaves with software that is, and that turnaround matters. So, let's talk about the verdict a year later. I would give this phone a 9 out of 10, and I would highly recommend anyone to buy this phone. The hardware is excellent, the camera is the best I've had in my pocket, and the battery has held up better than I expected. The thermals are genuinely better than any iPhone before it. Aluminium is a trade-off, yes, but it's the right one given what you get back. The dent on my phone bothers me slightly, but hey, I didn't put a case on it, so that's totally on me. iOS 26 has had its issues, but with iOS 27, Apple is back on track. So if you are watching this and you are thinking about buying an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max, let me give you some buying advice. If you are on an iPhone 15 Pro or older, the camera alone makes this worthwhile. The telephoto upgrade is meaningful and the thermal improvement matters for anyone who uses their phone to shoot for long stretches. If you're on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it depends how much you shoot. For me, the camera upgrade alone was worth it. If photography isn't your thing, you can sit this one out. And also, it's better to note that, the switch to aluminium, yes, a lot of people do not like it. If you prefer titanium, it's still worth to stay on the 15 or the 16 Pro Max. So that's it for this video. If you have any comments on the 17 Pro or Pro Max, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. And if you found this video useful, please consider subscribing. I'm a new channel and it definitely helps me out. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching.